Hello and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Friday, May 21st, 2021. Actually, we're all already moving into Saturday, but no matter. Today's topic is called Sky Flyby. It's a collection of images and sky observations happening May 13th through the 17th, 2021. And here's an alternate cover slide I liked. I wasn't sure which one to go with yet again, so I included them both and I hope you enjoy them. And before we get into things, I'd like to say good day. Osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, kedu, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, tsien dobre, konnichiwa, dobro honya, annyeonghaseyo, boa dobry den, aloha winala, kalimera, and hudendag. And today's starter image is of some nice uplit palm trees in Coral Gables, Florida in the evening. Now, as we get going with things, I'd like to say a heartfelt thanks to all of you for coming here and a big hearty welcome. Whether you're new or returning to this channel, and if you are new, I would just like to let you know I'm going to be walking through some slides. It's just of whatever presented itself in the skies in Miami and during this time frame that I happen to notice, things of interest, let's just say. I'm going to show some original photos. I'm also going to show some called enhanced photos. The enhanced simply means I've edited attributes of the photos, such as color, saturation, contrast, brightness, things of that nature, just to better kind of call out and highlight things in any given photo. I'm also going to drop in some letters just to help us track along with the areas of interest better than the cursor. Also helps me keep a little focused. There's going to be a lot going on in each photo, more than I can cover. So if you see something that I left out that you'd really like to know about, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to run an enhancement on it and talk about it in a future show. Also, you're going to notice that I'm talking about strange cloud activity in quotes. Cloud in quotes just simply means I suspect there's cloaking craft hiding behind some cloaking material that I'm going to just call as my go-to plasma. Plasma is just going to mean something heavier and denser than just water vapor or cloud material. Also, so that means and implies that there's cloaking craft going on in there. Now, that craft can either be 3D, three-dimensional, something hard. You can go up and walk and, knock on it, touch it, whatever. Or it can be something very interdimensional and ephemeral, something very ghost-like that just kind of comes and goes. Or it could be that 3D craft that's in the middle of phasing in and out of state. Now, when I'm talking about any of these craft, I'm talking about, yes, it could be human-made, but it also could be of extraterrestrial origin. And it could also be some other kind of supernatural phenomenon in some of these cases, coming in like air wisps or air elementals that I cover on other shows. So anyway, that said, let's just jump into the show. I'll kind of probably move a little bit of a fast clip on this one this time around. So feel free to, on your own time, go back and check out any of these photos at more length and see what you can see in them. And as I always like to say, if you have any other angles or ideas of what could be going on, by all means, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, so let's take a look here. So we're looking at areas A, B, C, and D. What first caught my attention here is that we're looking northwest at a sunrise, and just the overall shape of these little elmlets caught my attention as, just standing out as being a little odd. They're a little blurry and fuzzy to the naked eye, and yet we see some kind of more rigid structure and patterning happening at certain points. So we're going to take a look at this with some enhancement, and here we go. Actually, I also see a little shadow, a triangular shape tucked back in here I didn't see before. But anyway, we have kind of like bulbous shapes here, and that's not a typical cumulus cloud or any cloud that you could point to of decades past. Been here on this planet for many decades. I grew up intently watching the skies, and I can tell you this is not typical for this area. Until, it's just kind of been, these kinds of things have been popping up in the last 5 to 10 years or so. Anyway, looking at this, we see a red-pink signature in the middle of the photo. Now take a look at my description box below to see what that could be, and also look at other sky and earth watching channels to see what they think, and come up with your kind of own, formulate your own little plan about what's going on here, your own speculation. Anyway, keep in mind in this photo to the far right is the sunset, so that can account for some of the yellowish activity down here. But again, this is very standout as it's something happening, it seems local to this picture. We're going to keep looking, and we're now moving to the right or toward the north of where we were looking to the northwest before, so that's the edge of that bulbous part that we were looking at, or form, rather. So now we're going to look, and we see some texture, very fine texture. It's very, what do I want to say? This is like a very prominent element, even though it's kind of like an undercurrent in the photo, but it's almost like a bas relief. Looks like the ridge of the back of an alligator or something when I look at that pattern. And I'll show you what I mean here with some more enhancement on it. So you just see these little elements kind of popping up. They're getting highlight a bit. Just really weird texture happening in here. And then we look over at B.1 and we see some shadow on these little points happening here. I think there's a triangular imprint happening here. Actually, you can see it better in the previous photo. We've got this weird whip around. Look at this thing just making a curve of whatever that is. And C.1, we've got little element, seems like it's popping off here. And this little body looks like it just sprang up out of this overall formation as well. So what, and down here too, they seem to be peeling off of somewhere. So I don't know, I gotta say there's cloak and craft in here and that things are like springing off from it. That's just what I see. Let me know if you have any good ideas of what might be going on. I've just taken all the color out of it to see if we could see anything in a better way, and I still see this very, fixed structure, like patterning happening here. And then here's that tight pattern that we looked before, So I'm not sure, but down here, what's going on? But down here, when we look at C.2, this definitely looks like some little object is popping off of, it looks like an energy burst coming out of this thing. And these things too are moving in that way. So I gotta say, stuff is following the motion. Things are moving in there, and has to be some type of cloak and craft. But see what you think. All right, now this scene is more strange cloud activity, and this is happening actually to the east, not the north. Excuse that little typo. But what was strange about this scene is we finally have a more golden-like sun trying to come up. If you see some of my previous shows, a lot of its times this is just pure white and glaring, and I talk about what could be going on there in other shows with the solar simulator and artificial sun phenomenon. But here we have something that looks like a little bit like an arrowhead shape, and some weird stuff going on in here. So we're going to look at D, we're going to look at C and B. This I thought looked like chemtrails, but it might be something more. And do look at the difference between chemtrails or chemical trails and condensation trails. In a previous show I have as well. And there's also an excellent documentary called The Dimming on YouTube to really see the difference of what's going on there. Also, we have just something odd happening at A. So let's take a look at this. And again, we get a weird, this time it's kind of violet, but a red-pink signature. Again, look at my description box below of what could be causing that, because now we're seeing it again, this time off toward the east. The other one was toward the north. Now, we're going to look at, here we've got some golden activity. C.1 looks like a little object moving along with a little trail. That looks like the object with a little trail behind it. B.1, I didn't really get too much more, so we're just going to use that as a placeholder for now. Nor did I really with A. So really, this whole image is more about the color signatures, and also there's like some strange things kind of starting to peel off of here. Now we're going to look at an original on the left and enhanced on the right, zooming into that scene a little more, looking east-northeast. And look at this. Look at these objects, D, E, F, G. These look like similar bodies, but they're independent. And so we're going to look over to the right to see them. You see them a little bit better. And then we see another, looks like a flattened triangular form here, some darker shadow here that looks like it has a trail peeling off from behind it. A.1 is just to point out this could overall thing could be something cloaking back in here. There's just a lot of strange movement and strange elements going on. But see what you think. We're going to zoom in a little more, and it just looks very odd whatever's going on all in this area of A, B, and C. And then again, D through G, we're just seeing these looks like independent craft to me that are cloaking, that are getting backlit from the sunrise as it comes up. Then we've got another scene here. We're just still catching some of those little elements, but A's got that arrowhead type, form. And D just looks strange, standalone. C is covering kind of that overall area. So let's take a look. I'm taking the color out just to see if anything pops up any better. It didn't so much in this photo, so we're going to move on. And then we're going to change up the scene looking west at sunrise. And look what caught my attention here. Let's look over to the right at the enhanced version. We've got like a curved piece here, very sharp curve happening here. So this could be part of something else, like an imprint happening beyond. I'm not sure. But what is strange is look at all these little bits and pieces. That's no, typical cloud form. And then right adjacent, you've got these things moving up like this, like a bunch of crystals growing and, moving up. I don't know. And then E has a little bit of a dimension to it. So something strange is going on over here. See what you think is happening. But that's not typical cloud activity. Anyway, slice it. Then we're going to look over to the north-northeast. And again, we've got this strange thing, which I thought was chemtrail, but it might be something else. Jury's out on that a little bit. Then we have these two formations look kind of strange. We've got some weird activity up in here, but let's look at this with enhancement to see a little bit better what's going on. We got that red-pink signature going on again. And again, just look at this overall scene. Nothing about this. If, you know, the wind is supposedly moving along pretty simply, as it does in South Florida, flat South Florida, how are we getting these things going on sharp angle? You know, this thing coming across with wisp-like things blowing off it, and all of this, you know, different shapes. It just, none of it makes sense. So see what you think you find in that photo, and see if you can make any sense out of it. Okay, we're going to zoom in on that stuff, that one trail with the stuff wisping off of it, just to see if we get any clues. I do see two little triangle imprints hiding in here. I don't know what that means, but they're definitely triangles, symmetrical. They have geometry to them, so I'm going to say that's some type of cloaking craft or technology. So E3 is just referring to this overall scene. How is this like blowing off when it wasn't a very windy day, and it wouldn't have been blowing this way, it would have been blowing it the other way. So yeah, this is kind of a little bit of a mystifying scene. See if you have any thoughts about it. All right, so here we're just looking at that one trail was off to the left toward the north. So now we're looking more southeast, south. And look at these weird things. So this looks like this thing just kind of scooped down this way. Look at this. This thing curves all the way like this and moves down at D. And we get an echo curve, and then this thing moves down at E. You know, then we got these things coming straight down. And again, these things over here on an angle. All of this movement in different directions would not happen in just a typical sky with the air movement going along. This is also a weird little thing over here. But anyway, let's check it out with some enhancement, see if we get any more clues. And I just see it so much better. Look at 8.1. It definitely looks like some type of craft that just kind of banked in and around here and has a vapor trail behind it. Same thing with D.1. To me, that's some type of craft with some, or these could be multiple craft, you know, but definitely that's some type of vapor trail behind this thing. You know, it's tracking with this object. But as always, see what you think. And then here we got these two things echoing parallel, you know, tracking on the same curve. You just don't do that in nature and natural cloud systems. At B.1, that could be two objects. There's a lot going on in this one. So So have fun checking it out when you have a little more time on your own. Okay, we're going to zoom in on C, D, and E in those areas because this thing just intrigued the heck out of me. And this too. This is now even looking like a triangle with a point to it at D.2. So I just took out the color and changed things in a different way, edited the attributes in a different way. Look at, we got a line with shadow on this thing. This definitely has dimension and is an object. I'm just going to say that right there. And then, of course, the rest is a little bit fuzzy. Things could be happening in there. And then this is all blurred out, but that looks like an object to me. That's got a right angle on it if you follow my cursor. Bam. Very straight edge. And it has a triangular form at the top like that. So no clouds do that in a common natural cloud system. So what is it then if it's not cloak and craft or something of that nature? All right, now we're going to look at original photo on the left, enhanced on the right. And this is looking west at a sunrise. And again, the motion of itself, these things are coming down on an angle, you know. Cloud systems in the past, they might billow up in cumulus cloud form, but they more or less would move straight across the sky. These are coming in at a weird angle, and let's look to the right to see what's going on. You know, we've got this line coming in. This thing is more or less parallel with a division line in between it, separating it. And then we've got like a standalone object, looks like it's C.1, and then looks like stuff's happening a little bit differently at A and B. I'm really not sure what's going on in here. Then we go down to D and E1. Look at all this like gritty stuff. Again, that's just not typical cloud, so I got to call that some type of cloaking system is what I'm going to say that is. All right, now we're looking to the east, more strange cloud activity, and this is that white glaring fixed sun I was talking about that does not look like the other golden one we had before. And again, I'm talking about a solar simulator artificial sun phenomenon, and some of my earlier shows and other shows, all on YouTube and the Sky and Earth Watching channels, are talking about this as well. But what's interesting is I glimpsed what was happening up at A, and these are little distinct shapes, you know, on their own. And so I'm not sure if this is part of an overall cloaking system or if these are independent either ships or tech of some type or sensors. And then I've just called this out because we're going to see what unfolds in the enhanced version here. So 8.1, here's that little cluster of unknown objects. And then C.1, we have, look at the color signature. It looks like a body there Looks like a different body happening at D.1. Here's that white glare out from that, I'm going to call it artificial sun. And then E.1, we have some weird little objects happening here, and then the color changes. So what I think is happening is we've got the artificial sun up here, because it's also too high in the sky to be the natural sun at this hour at the sunrise. And I think our natural sun is down here somehow, and it's being covered and cloaked by all this stuff and something else moving in here, until at one point it can be completely obscured, and this starts to get brighter and wider and glares out more and hides it better. I think that's what's going on here. See what you think. All right, now we're going to zoom in on that weird little cluster I was looking at, and look at these things. Those don't look like little, how could they even be cloud puffs or fragments? There's nothing even like them around in the sky. Again, see how white and glaring this is. We're going to look at them with some more enhancement, and they even pop out white against other color when I simply change the color saturation and stuff. So that tells me these are a different animal than what's around them. And so what they are, I can't tell you, but they're definitely unknown objects. That's what I'm going to say. Then we're going to look to the east at sunrise again, and look at the strange nature, the way these things like kick up at the edges. Different densities, different movement of all of this stuff. Look at this is going straight up vertical, while other stuff is going down on angle. So let's look at some enhancement. Don't really get at too much more. Maybe you can find more stuff in this photo, but just weird. You know, to me it almost looks like this whole thing is an overall cloaking object, and these on the wings are just the kind of tufted plasma material that's, you know, trying to help cloak it. That might be another possibility. With any of these photos, you got to look at big scale and then also in micro level and see what you see. All right, now this is a scene looking east, and now we've got, looks like the second sun phenomenon where there's a ball in front of the bigger glaring artificial sun. But for this pair of photos, I'm just going to direct your attention to the color signature and the texture. Look at all this stuff to the right. Look at the texture of this. This isn't typical cloud. I usually call that staccato cloud when it's very agitated, let's just say, and sometimes blurry to the naked eye. And to me it implies that there is bigger craft up there above, generating electromagnetic wave activity or some type of other waves in the sky to do that, to really disturb things in the atmosphere. It could also be human technology that does that via things like HARP and Alaska, the arrays that they have to modify the frequencies in the skies and mess with the lower cloud layer and other things in the atmosphere. But I don't know, I think this is more, it's bigger than that. I think in this case it must be some type of other intervention from above. Anyway, here we go. We've got that red-pink signature again, and then the, you know, more golden one below. And then this is zooming in what I said was the second sun. Look at B. And actually there's a triangular shape right over it, because usually these things come in and obscure, you know, the stuff that we humans are quote-unquote not supposed to see. Like this. Have you heard anybody talk about a second sun unless you've looked at this channel or other channels like it? You're not going to hear it on the mainstream media. And yet we can see it. There's a clear ball. I have better and clearer examples in some of my other shows, but I could see this with the naked eye. We have an exact clear ball. It's like very small. It could never be our sun just from the size of it. And it's in the front of a bigger glaring body happening beyond. So there's no way that that is the sun. So that is some other artificial or celestial body there. I'm going to call it artificial though. Here with some enhancement, you can see the outline of that thing clear as day, even better. And look at B1, no accident that starts to be a triangle, something that's trying to cover the fact that there is something there. Looks like we have another triangular shape happening up here and little pieces here and here. So I'm just going to say there's a lot of artificial stuff happening all in front of what might even be another artificial sun beyond, with our natural sun, original sun, being, you know, far beyond all of this mess. All right, now we're going to look at another scene. This is looking north in the evening towards sunset, almost 8 o'clock. And just looked weird, you know, like chaotic, just a lot of different movement. Again, this is moving in this way. This is going on angle this way. We've got a triangular chunk at B and at A as well. Just a lot happening here. We get a little bit of a red-pink flare-up over there, so we're going to look to the right with enhancement. And man, that really is red. Looks like there's an object hiding in here to me, and here as well. And then B.1, we see how triangular, and A.1 these things are, and even at C.1. And then we have stuff going off in this direction, you know, as this is coming down and this is coming down. So come on. There's a lot of artificial cloud activity happening in here. So is it cloaking material? Is it artificial cloud created by mankind somehow? Or collaboration between mankind and ET? I don't know, but see what you think. I'm just saying this is not in any way, shape, or form a typical sky over South Florida. any way you slice it. Okay, now this is the cover slide in the original form, and what I noticed was like this walnut shape, this pointed ellipse, even to the naked eye, and it looks like this is like a trail behind it, or this is plasma, trying to like be a red herring to take your attention away from this thing as a standalone object. And then B, this was starting to look triangular, and it looked like something of substance was at C. Also, weird things happening, like standalone, strange puffs. They're not even clouds. So we look at this with enhancement, and there we go. I think you can see what I can see, at least I hope. Here's a darker object that holds true at 8.1. It looks like this is plasma, different consistency than this for sure, kind of wafting in front of it. So that's why I'm calling that cloaking material. And down here, I believe that's, trying to cloak the fact that we've got a triangular shape here. And at C.1, you can even see different color signature. There's like violet and green in here, while this stays like a peach color. So that tells me there's something of different density or something happening in here. And then down here, I didn't really get to too much, although I think we've got another triangular kind of tilted on its side, a little triangle here. And, there could be more things going on than meets the eye than I've called out. See what you think, though. Now, here's the alternate cover, or the second cover that I liked, cover slide in its original form. And just look off in the distance. I could see, looking to the south, southeast, a triangular form on angle, another triangular form, and one here. Now, how the heck is that any kind of natural cloud? That's not cumulus, that's not cirrus or strato-cirrus or stratocumulus or whatever. Very low in the sky, and it even had some like brighter white points happening, so we're definitely going to see this one enhancement. Here we go. Also, we're looking to the south, and we get bright red signature down here, red-pink signature. That should be way farther off to the right of this photo, not where it is right here. And then we have like a darker, more solid object here. This looks almost like a shark fin to me. So I'm not sure what this overall thing is. And then here, this looks like this is going off in another direction, or this overall thing is one craft with some cascading cloaking material bisecting it and coming over the top. I'm not sure. This looks like a separate object to me at B.1 in the foreground, but also some type of cloaking craft. Here we've got this bright white point, which always tells me there is something cloaking or moving about. Of non-natural means to the regular sky happening. So cloaking craft or piece of a craft, because that white bit against a darker background is its own animal. Okay, now we're going to look. Actually, I'm sorry, I did not get the labels right on all of this. This is looking east, not southeast. But anyway, no matter. We're going to look at areas A, B, C, and D. And we have a chemtrail coming down here from some kind of plane or something making that on that angle, that little thin piece at D. Then we have, I'm just looking at A, B, and C because we've got some strange movement. This even like curves or arcs. And just the whole scene just looked strange. Again, coming in sharp angle. This even looks like a teardrop. Again, cumulus clouds and days of yore would just kind of move straight across, not on these dramatic angles. So let's look at this. And here we can just see that loop or that teardrop a little bit more at B.1. Seems to have like something on this rim, little things popping out around the edges. I couldn't really get much more, at any of these points. I'm just going to leave it up to you to kind of look at this a little more in your own time. But what I do see at C.1 is it looks like the edge of like a darker imprint or shape. See these little corners here? To me, it looks like something is hiding like this. But there's a much more in this photo that could be a triangle imprint beyond. This little thing could be an object here. These two little things could also be objects. So see what you think. Also, we've got something very distinct here, kind of splaying off. I think there's an object there and a little object here. Are they sensors? Are they like bullets or missiles? I don't know. I got to think that it's some kind of tech, though. All right, and now we're looking east-northeast at a sunrise, and here we're going back to the golden color a little bit more. But all of this is one big haze, just weird, no reason for there just to be full-on haze, at this time, unless it was artificially generated. But we'll look at it with some enhancement, and here we go. I believe that haze is there to try to filter out and mask out this red-pink signature happening beyond. That's all I'm going to say about this photo for now. And then we're going to look at the north at 8 p.m. towards sunset, and look at this. Just looks strange. This is coming down this way. This is coming in an opposing angle, perpendicular. This starts to take on a shape. We look to the right. We see more of that shape, kind of that imprint happening. what is happening here? That's not natural to the sky. And we get that, red-pink signature happening again, and we're looking straight north. Okay, we're going to look again nearby, and we've got, also to the north, we've got all of this happening, different angles, different activity. Look at it with some enhancement, and, we just see how much. We've got a line coming this way, smack perpendicular into this. I don't know what's going on. I just know that's not normal. And then we're going to look at panorama below is the original, and the panorama above is enhanced. And we do see, just to the naked eye, this big white fuzz out, glare out, and then we do see warmer signature happening beyond. This is a really weird thing happening here at B. It gets washed out in this one, but look at this, something is definitely going on in our skies that nobody's talking about, except for people like myself and others looking up and going, what is going on YouTube and off the mainstream. Anyway, here we go, more strange cloud activity. Looking west, and now that was that scene that we were looking at before, but just moving more toward the south. So I've just flagged some areas that maybe you can look at on your own time, but we see this darker shadow back here. You just see it's dark gray, and it gets interrupted. It looks like there's a white mask out or imprint of a triangular form there to me. And just the whole scene is strange. We got a corner, coming in here in the negative or the void. Definitely was worth looking at with enhancement, and this is what I get. So we already saw it in the panorama how it was really white and glaring, and around the fringe it was turning, more red. Now what's interesting in this one is look at f.1, how dark that is. So to me there's some type of different animal hiding on the fringe here. And then we have a darker shape at B1, almost looks like an iron shape, darker in the background. And A.1 looks again like there's something lurking and masking in the midst of all of this color wash. And this is the photo of the week and close of the show. We have a statue kind of looking over a pool. You can't see the pool. But anyway, I want to say thank you for looking over things here a while with me. We've got a little crescent moon happening up in here with weird light signature compared to the rest of the sky. But anyway, thank you for being here. It is probably for most everybody good enough to say it's the weekend or the start of it, whether you're ahead of me or behind me time zone wise. So wherever you're at, just have a gorgeous now. I wish you tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.